Hey everybody, it's your friendly neighborhood therapist Alfonso over here at Mental Matters Clinical Services. Hang on, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies, you'll want to hear this. Gentlemen, I'm not sure if you'll want me to say this, but I'm going to explain to you why men hunt vagina like a lion hunts a gazelle. Hold on, like they say, this one's going to be a banger. You don't want to miss it. Be right back. Oh, that's right. Cue the intro. Hey everybody, it's your friendly neighborhood therapist Alfonso, and I need to bring this to you. This is not something that I just heard the other day. This is something I deal with on a regular basis. A few months back, I don't know, maybe last year, my wife and I were sitting having a drink, and I don't meet strangers. Most people who know me know that I'm an ambivert. That means I can be a little bit introverted, a little bit extroverted, but I don't meet strangers. And we were just sitting down enjoying a nice beverage, and there was a guy sitting next to us, and we struck up conversation. He was nice. It was all going good. And at some point, we started talking about the dating scene. He said that he was single. And as we continued to talk, I mentioned how I personally know someone who said, last time I spoke with him, he said he had sex with 132 women. And I was saying that this gentleman seemed like he's a really nice guy. I'm not judging him with this story. Seemed like a nice guy, but he looked at me and he laughed. And initially I thought he was laughing because he thought that was ludicrous. Then I realized he was laughing because he had a number that topped that. And my wife jokingly said, Alfonso, he probably had that last year. And the gentleman just started laughing. Nice looking guy. And it made me think about the fact, growing up at my age, 58 and a half years old, while I'll be 59 years old in October. Where did the time go? But at my age, many of us were socialized to consider women from the perspective of vagina, from the perspective of trying to get it, hit it, then forget it. When we learned those things, I realized I didn't have a healthy perspective of what a woman was. I, like many of the other gentlemen, when I was growing up, it was about who can get with this one, who can get with that one, especially if a girl had a reputation. This is unfortunately, it's sad because it didn't just happen back when I grew up, but I hear young men speak of the same thing today. As a matter of fact, one of my patients was telling me that on some of the dating apps that she used, the men that she met basically catfished them, that when they went out to get something to eat, it was basically about, hey, I'm into polyamory, I'm into swinging, we're just about trying to get as much sex as possible. This is actually the norm. But from that male perspective, I need to explain to you why. It is because men were not raised to consider women equal. We were not raised to consider women outside of what they can do for us in the kitchen and in the bedroom. There's a story from a few years back, a group of young men in California, young men still in high school, it was found out that they were playing the points game. I want to say there were maybe 8 or 9 of them. Now, these were young men in an exclusive, extremely expensive high school. They found out that these young men were playing the point system game. They were trying to get with as many young women as possible. I forget how it was found out, but these young men had amassed a staggering number of young women that they had slept with. Unfortunately, some of these young men passed the other women around. Once again, this is not abnormal. It's not something that happens with people who are my age. It happens with people who are much younger, where men are taught not to see women a certain way. We live in an age now where society tells women that you need to go out and get a breast lift, you need to get a BBL, they're getting cornea implants, they're getting so many things done to their bodies. Why? Now, not every woman is doing that, so I want to make sure you understand, if this is what a woman is doing because she wants to enhance herself for her own self-esteem, that's fine. I mean the women who do this because society has told them that as you are, you're not good enough, so you have to sexually objectify yourself. Men today Men today are still raised with that same value system. Not all men. Like I said before, if you know the shoe don't fit you, then don't even try it on. But men today still operate on that premise that I will take you out, but it is so that I can get what's between your legs, because that's where the prize is. I tell the women that I treat who are out looking for love, looking to be in a relationship, I try to explain to them there's a different level of thinking with men. Before, a man would do that on the DL. He would overpromise and underdeliver. Nowadays, it's just straight up about, this is what I'm about. You cannot break a mindset of that kind of man by trying to bring him into your world and say, hey, I'm going to change him. That change has to be internal. I tell the women that I treat that when a man comes up to you and he's talking about how beautiful you are and everything else, I want you to consider that this man sees a walking, talking vagina. It is not about him trying to figure out what's in your head or what's in your heart, but how good what's between your legs is. It is sad that we have to actually teach women this. No different than as a black father, I have to teach my black boys, the young black men I treat, that when you get pulled over by the police, you have to make sure you put your hands on the steering wheel, because you don't want to produce yourself or present like a threat because of what's called implicit bias. It's not right. It's just what it is. And the reality is that there are so many men who actually pride themselves on getting with women just to get the vagina. Sometimes it's sickening to hear men talk about just how good they feel when they've turned that woman out, is what they say, when they've gotten her to do things to him that they won't even do with their own guy or with the last man that they were with. Men are very good at hitting a woman in that place where she's vulnerable. Most people have two basic needs. That's a need to love and a need to feel love. And unfortunately, women have been objectified sexually for men who find value in that woman only in her vagina. It really is sad that we have to treat or teach women that you must consider that this man means you no good initially. And ladies, I have to say this. I have to say it. This is not old school. This is actually new age. As I had to tell somebody recently, once you give a man sex early on, you have disincentivized him to learn more about what's in your head and what's in your heart. As I said before, I'm not speaking this in a blanket way that all men are that way, but the reality is that there are so many men who are still playing the numbers game. It is sad, but the reality is I have 70 and 80-year-olds who are showing up on dates with the Viagra, because they are ready to have sex right away, and they think that, oh, you must be about the same thing. Meeting a gentleman is sometimes considered an idealistic concept, but there are still men out here who will value you for who you are. But as I said before, the reality is so many men are only interested in what's between your legs. One woman asked a man, why do you cheat on me so much? And he said, you know what, to be honest with you, I just like the feeling of new vagina around my penis. And he had slept with so many women. This is not an anomaly. I see so many cases like that in case studies, cases I worked on in the past. It is the way a man has been socialized to view a woman. If you show up in your sexuality and your sensuality and not in your emotional state, in a healthy way, I mean, not in that way that you make a man want to know you and to see what else you have going for you, then that guy is going to look at you potentially as a number. And you would think that men age out of it at some point, but so many don't. I treat women who are 18 years old and I treat women who are 78 years old. And it's just astonishing that the exact same thing that goes on with the teenagers is what's going on with the geriatric population. I'm not saying that you're too old to get your sex on. No, I would never say something like that. But I'm saying when you run across men who you think should know better doing the exact same thing, you have to make sure, ladies, you are presenting yourself in a way that say you are not about that game. Because you know what? If that man is trying to hunt you for your vagina and you have your legs closed, then that guy would just go somewhere else, because there's so many people who are willing to give them that. I actually told one man not that long ago that you need to. Now, I was joking when I say this. Don't think this is clinical advice, but I was using it as a metaphor to say how irresponsible he is. I said you need to cut your penis off, cryogenically freeze it, and then when you learn how to use it responsibly, thaw it out and go forward. Once you meet somebody, and as retired pastor, I have to say, once you meet somebody in marriage, I want to make sure you guys know where I'm coming from. It is not to say that having a sexual desire is wrong, but you need to understand the average man in our society is not socialized to view you outside of what you have between your legs and in your bra. And society doesn't help at all when we push. Society pushes sexuality like that is the only way as a woman you're going to get what you want. Hey, I know that not everybody is going to appreciate this. Do me a favor, leave me a comment and let me know your thoughts about this. And as before, I already expected some men won't like this. One man called me a hater. Not hating. I'm just trying to teach you to be responsible. It is my responsibility as an old head, old cat, whatever you want to say, to teach young men. Don't look at a woman for value in her vagina. Show up in a way that she knows that you'll protect her and not value her based upon what she can do in the bedroom. Hey, you guys also know what I love to say. I really do love you. I try to bring you this content because I care about you and I don't want to see you be the victim of somebody who'll only use you for what you have between your legs and not what's in your head and what's in your heart. You guys do me a favor. If this content means anything to you, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Also hit that notification bell so you can know when I post the next video. I'm going to throw a video up here about what cheating does to a man and also what cheating does to a woman. Like I said, leave your friendly neighborhood therapist, Alfonso, some feedback. Let me know what you think about the video. You guys have an amazing day on purpose. Take care.